Hi guys, this is Jack, and today we're going to be reviewing Sorry Baby, the new film by Ava Victor. Before I get into, the review, I just want to say thank you guys for checking out some of my videos for the past couple weeks, especially the Amelia Perez scandal that's happening right now. I will be talking about the Critics' Choice Awards before, the ceremony starts. There's a lot of stuff that I want to go super deep into, but that's not the time and place right now, but let's talk about Sorry Baby. So Sorry Baby is the new film by Ava Victor. This is her directorial debut. I haven't seen anything from her. A lot of the films that are out here at the Sundance Film Festival are mostly directorial debuts, and I actually like that because normally I would just, look at the reviews, see what's the talk of the town, and then eventually buy my tickets. But with the Sundance Film Festival, you just go with the flow. You read the plot line, you read some of the small blurbs from the promotional materials, and then you also look at the pictures, and then you just take it in, and then you just buy the tickets and you go. And that's most of the Sundance films. So I didn't know anything about this other than that Lucas Hedges is in this movie, and I haven't seen him in a long time, and I want to come back from him. So it was nice to see him finally come back here. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But so Sorry Baby is a film about this woman and her best friend, and she is going through some tough times. These two characters live in this rural town, and they're studying to become teachers, and they're doing their masters. And one of the main characters starts hanging out with this professor who teaches English, and eventually something happens, and Agnes, played by Ava Victor, is violated, and she has to figure out how to deal with what just happened and just the meaning of her life after the events. And this movie does this thing where it time jumps and then it flashes back to some of the key moments of this person's life, and it starts to kind of come in line with the film's overall theme well past the third act of the film. But even then, you understand and know what happened to Agnes around that time, and then once it flashes forward to her life now, that whole baggage starts to kind of cave in. But I really enjoyed this. This was one of those films that everybody was talking about before the virtual component started, and people were praising it and raving it and calling it, I think, one of the best Sundance films of this festival this year. And I decided to just go with the flow and watch it first as my first Sundance Film Festival movie this year. And I made the right choice because this was just very riveting and attentive and emotional, and it kind of reminded me of those old 2000s mumblecore comedies where a lot of these characters are just yapping about just random stuff. They're going through just all the stuff that's happening in their lives internally, and then just speaking it out of their mind. And Agnes is basically like that. She just talks and talks and talks and talks and just talks about everything that's in her vicinity. And I really enjoyed Agnes's kind of character arc in this movie. And there's other characters that are in this movie that have really good moments, like Naomi Ackie, who plays Lydia, or Liddy, and she's the best friend of Agnes, and they're both going through these tough times, and she's one of the most positive people out there who hypes Agnes up and tries to make her feel special, even though she went through this really horrible situation. And then there's also Lucas Hedges, who plays the neighbor named Gavin, and he's kind of awkward. He's trying to get in Agnes's pants, but then eventually they become girlfriend and boyfriend. It's a really cute relationship. And then there's also other characters. There's also Nucci the cat, who just shows up out of nowhere and becomes Agnes's kind of guide past her traumatic event. And there's also a really great scene between this character actor. I forgot the name of that character actor, but he shows up and helps this Agnes's out after a panic attack moment in the car, and then eventually it trades into this scene where they're eating a sandwich, and they're talking about just their lives. And I thought that was really an emotional scene, and probably the best high point of the movie. And then the ending happens, and I don't want to spoil it, but it pretty much is in the title, but I won't say too much about that. But that's where it ends, and it ends really kind of like beautifully. And there's also moments where it plays around with like time. There's a scene where once the traumatic event happens, you see like the house kind of like change from like light to dark with the time and like the actual like weather, and it's like really interesting how the direction in that scene plays out. And aside from that, like it still has like the trappings of like a classical Sundance Film Festival movie, just with like the wittiness and the quirks. But even then, I was really like into the movie. I don't have anything too much to say about it, but I enjoyed it, and when this does come out, definitely check it out. It is definitely like a film independent spirit type of movie where it's going to get like nominated for like a lot of those awards. But I don't know about the Oscars yet. Maybe, really depends on how the season goes, but I'm rooting for Ava Victor to pop off this next award season because I think this is a good one to kind of like look out for. But yeah, that's my review for Sorry Baby. Peace out.